Woo! Man, I got to tell you, that was close. I thought we were going to get through a season without hearing anything stupid out of Sheryl Swoopes' mouth and anything that sounds rather interesting, something that you might choose to give some side-eye to.
The Indiana Fever just made a bold move that's turned heads across the WNBA. In a surprising decision, they released not one, but two well-known rookies, something no one saw coming. As fans tried to make sense of it, Sheryl Swoopes, who's been openly critical of Caitlin Clark, re-emerged with strong words. But this time, she didn't just take aim at Clark. She called out the entire Fever organization.
And you have a black player that just got cut, and Sheryl Swoopes is not happy about that.
What began as a routine roster change quickly turned into full-on league drama, complete with tension and headlines that spread like wildfire. Just when it seemed like Sheryl Swoopes had faded from the spotlight, she popped back up out of nowhere. So, what exactly did she say this time? And how is the Indiana Fever responding to all the chatter? Share your thoughts on Swoopes in the comments.
Call me nuts, but unfortunately for the old WNBA fandom and media, in her case, media and old players, unfortunately, in some cases, you do feel like there is something else lurking behind said opinions that may not be basketball related. Let's put it that way.
Let's start with the roster cuts that grabbed everyone's attention. The Indiana Fever just made one of the boldest preseason decisions we've seen in a long time. Bree Hall, yes, the dynamic guard and two-time national champion from South Carolina, was let go before she even had a real chance to play. She didn't see any action in the opener against Washington, barely got minutes in the game against Brazil, and just like that, she was off the team. And if that felt like a shock, the Fever weren't finished yet.
All is now gone, as you know. And today it was announced that Yvonne Ejim has been waived by the Fever as well. Sophie Cunningham talked about that yesterday, saying you can latch on to another team, another place.
Just because you didn't make a roster doesn't mean you're out of the W forever.
About 24 hours later, the Fever made another surprising move, cutting Yvonne Ejim, the top scorer from Gonzaga and a player known for her grit and drive. Just like Bree Hall, she came in with a strong college record and real potential. But neither rookie got the chance to settle in. They were both out before they could even get comfortable. It's a tough reminder of how brutal pro sports can be. Talent isn't always enough. It comes down to timing, team needs, and numbers. Sometimes dreams run straight into the hard business side of basketball.
Indiana Fever, as expected, have waived Yvonne Ejim. She's just not at the level that the Indiana Fever are hoping her to be at.
The Fever announced it directly. Thank you, Yvonne Ejim, who was the all-time leading scorer in Gonzaga history.
Naturally, the big question is, why were these two rookies let go? To understand it, you have to look at the Fever's salary cap situation. Earlier, the team had to buy out Katie Lou Samuelson's expensive contract just to make room for key veteran signings. As a result, they could only afford to keep 11 players on the roster. Veterans like Natasha Howard, DeWanna Bonner, Sydney Colson, Brianna Turner, Sophie Cunningham, Dorka Juhas, and the recently re-signed Kelsey Mitchell all have at least 1 year guaranteed. If the Fever cut any of them, they'd still have to pay their salaries. That leaves only a few players on rookie contracts, Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and Lexi Hull, as options to release without financial penalty. But let's be honest, there's no way the team's cutting any of those three.
It's hard, right? We all reached out. I think that they brought really good people in, great people into training camp this year. But just because you didn't make this spot, this is probably one of the harder rosters to make in the W this year. It doesn't mean you're out of the W, and you just got to keep ready, keep playing, keep grinding it out. And if it's hard to make the league. I know Sid and I, we were second rounders. We stuck. Her experience is a little bit different than mine, but just because you didn't make a roster doesn't mean you're out of the W forever.
In reality, all three rookies, including Michaela Timpson, who's impressed during training camp and preseason, were competing for just one available roster spot. And right now, it looks like Timpson is the frontrunner. The Fever need young forwards in their rotation, and her speed, hustle, and standout defense make her a perfect fit. Many fans are already calling her the steal of the...
Timpson is obviously at a certain level. She's a rim runner. She just obviously has a higher ceiling than Ejim at the moment. And this is maybe a hot take.